What's good, YouTube? This is AOS85 here, and I'm bringing you guys the synchro deck discussion for Fabled Quasar, aka Fabled Draw Whore. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys can count, so if you were to go over the card count, you would notice that it's actually more than 15 cards. It's actually 16 cards, and I put in 16 cards in this deck out here just to show you the possibilities with this deck. I obviously don't run 16 cards in the extra deck because it's illegal, but I do sometimes switch out from the sideboard into different cards. Now, some of these monsters are obviously staples, and a lot of them are special text I like, but more or less this is for my version of the Fabled Quasar Fabled draw deck. It's basically a synchro deck, and these are basically your boss monsters. This is what you want to do. You want to synchro summon as much as you can. So, without further ado, let's go into the discussion. Formula Synchron, easy enough. You draw a card when he's synchro summoned. If you could combine him with Hyper Librarian, you draw 2 cards. Unfortunately, fortunately, he's another draw engine for the deck, so it's pretty nice. Him and Hyper Librarian combine to give you a lot of combos, and it's Formula Synchron that allows you to go into your powerhouse, either Shooting Star Dragon or Tech Genius Halberd Cannon. Now, moving on, we have Fabled Unicorn, a very powerful and very underrated card. While you and your opponent have the same number of cards in hand, and this is the most important aspect of his effect, negate all spells, traps, and effect monsters' effects activated by your opponent and destroy that spell, trap, or monster. Now, his power lies in the key word of it is the key word in his effects. You're negating all effects, not the activation of the card itself, but the effect. What that means is that Fabled Unicorn is able to chain to any monster spell or trap card of any speed spell, because he's not chaining to the actual activation of the card. He's actually chaining to the effects during the resolution of the effects. So, for example, if your opponent activates Solemn Judgment, while both of you each have 3 cards in hands, Solemn Judgment will be activated. The life point cost will be paid, so your opponent will pay half their life points. And during the resolution of the effect, Fabled Unicorn will automatically negate it. He's a very, very, very powerful monster, and though it can be very hard to manipulate your hand advantage, he's one card mid to late game that can really help out, because you do have a lot of ways to replenish your hand if need be, or get rid of your hand if need be, so he's pretty nice. Stygian Surgeons, one of my favorite synchro monsters. Level 5 tuner to go one level 5 synchro. His synchro materials is 1 fiend type tuner and 1 non-tuner. When he destroys a monster by battle and sends it to graveyard, he gains 800 attack points until the end of the battle phase and attacks again. Pretty nice for incredible damage. Fabled Reagan. When this card is synchro summoned, if you have 1 or less cards in your hand, you can draw up until you have 2 cards in hand. So, another combo is with him and Hyper Librarian. Obviously, you synchro summon Hyper Librarian first, then you synchro summon Reagan. When Reagan is synchro summoned, ideally when you have empty hands, when Reagan is synchro summoned, Hyper Librarian's effect will activate to be Chain Link 1. Reagan's effect will then activate to be Chain Link 2. I mean, vice versa, sorry. Reagan's effect will be activated when he synchro summons. You know what? I forget the combo, and when I think about it now, the combo might be wrong. But the idea is that you draw for Fabled Reagan and you draw for Hyper Librarian in a similar fashion to Formula Synchron. So, depending on the speed of the resolution, if Fabled Reagan is effect is speed spell 1, and Librarian's effect is if Fabled's effect is speed spell 2, and Librarian's effect is speed spell 1, like I believe it is, Reagan's effect, and I believe that's true. That's true, actually. So I was right. Right when Reagan synchro summons, Librarian's effect activates Chain Link 1, Reagan's effect activates Chain Link 2. Chain Link 2 goes off first. You draw 2 cards for Reagan, and for Librarian you draw a 3rd card. Pretty powerful combo. Pretty powerful. And you run 2 Librarians and 2 Reagans. So, it's pretty sick. Black Rose, Stardust, Shooting Star, Staples. Chaos King Archfiend. He is a level 7 synchro monster, 2600 attack and 2600 defense. Fiend type tuner and 1 non-tuners and 1 or more non-tuner monsters. When this card declares an attack, you can switch the attack and defense of all face-up monsters your opponent controls until the end phase. He can get over a lot of monsters by switching their attack and defense and just running over them. He doesn't activate flip effects because it only targets face-up monsters, but it's still a very strong card and one of my favorite cards to use. I already went over Stardust and Shooting Star. You know, these cards are important because Stardust is the negation, destruction, and defense, and Shooting Star Dragon has this very special role in his deck. First of all, you have Formula Synchron and Stardust, so it's very easy to bring him out. Second of all, he allows you to use. He benefits from the use of this monster, Shooting Quasar Dragon. Now, Shooting Quasar Dragon is the final synchro monster that has yet to come out in a TCG. It is the final synchro monster in the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's anime, and it's basically this evolved version of all 4 of the senior tuners. It's synchro summoned by having 1 tuner synchro monster and 2 or more non-tuner synchro monsters. It's a level 12, so I usually go 5, 5, and 2. Usually Fabled Reagan, Hyper Librarian, and Formula Synchron. Its effect states that once per turn, you can negate the activation of a spell, trap, or effect monster's effect and destroy it. And this card can attack a number of times equal to the number of non-tuner synchro monsters used to synchro summon it. So, for my deck, you would normally be able to attack twice with him. At 4,000 attack and 4,000 defense. Even if they have a Battlefield or Gores in hand, that's game. You're attacking once, they try and activate either one, you negate and swing again for game. It's pretty easy to OTK with this guy, and it's pretty hard to get him out, so he's not broken. This is one of the cards I'm really looking forward to the TCG. Obviously, since he's not legal, I would replace him with Tech Tune's Halberd Cannon, which is it's powerful too, but to be honest, not nearly as strong as Shooting Quasar Dragon. But that's neither here nor there. Fabled Leviathan. When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can select up to 3 fabled monsters in your graveyard and add them to your hand. Another pot of average for the deck, 3,000 attack beat stick. I actually think about taking him out because he's cool but not necessary. And the easiest way to get him out was Fabled Dynera. And I only run 1 in my deck, so that's that. And of course, final staples. Trishula, obviously level 9. Gets ridiculous card advantage by removing cards from the graveyard, field, and hand of your opponents. We all know him. And Bryonak. Bryonak effect says you discard cards in order to activate it. So his effect can trigger each and every single one of your Fabled monster special summon effects, making him very, very nice for the deck. So people, there we have it, the synchro deck. The synchro options for Fabled Quasar. Obviously, you can add your more staples like Scrap Dragon, Gaia Knight, Armory Arm, Cataster. But for the most part, this is what I use on Dual Network. I actually don't put in Fabled, I won't put in Leviathan, and this is more of the build of what I have in Dual Network. If I can move everything to the side. In Dual Network, the basically my side deck is as follows: 1 Quasar, 1 Shooting Star, 1 Trishula, 1 Stardust, 1 Chaos King Archfiend, 1 Black Rose, 1 Bryonak, 2 Hyper Librarian, 2 Fabled Reagan, Stygian, Unicorn, and 2 Formula Synchron. And there we have it, extra deck for Fabled Draw Whore. Thank you guys for watching. Keep on subscribing. Peace out, YouTube.